Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to another flight in the wonderful Chaos Diamond DA40. Today we're going to do a short IFR trip to show you the IFR capabilities of this aircraft, since this is a really good single-engine IFR trainer aircraft as well. We are in Lübeck and we're going to make a short trip over to Hamburg, which is going to be just around some 20 minutes flight time, depending on air traffic control and on the amount of traffic that we'll find here on VATSIM. So join me inside as we're about to prepare our aircraft for service. But before we do that, let's start with a quick walk around. So first things first, we are going to check that our aircraft doesn't have any damages and is in a good operating condition for today's sector. You can see how the leading edge of the propeller blade is actually a little bit worn and used, which is an effect that I really like, together with all those flies that we have on the front of the aircraft over here. It's just looking really excellent, isn't it? So the main wheels are looking good today as well. Then we can walk backwards a little bit. Our aircraft is refueled already. There are no damages. The static wick discharges are in place and the lights are okay as well. Then let's walk a little bit further to the back and have a look at that iconic diamond tail, and everything's looking good over here. Now the fittings of the aircraft are looking good over here and down here as well, and we can check the same thing on the other end side where things are looking quite good as well. All those trim tabs are looking undamaged and they seem to be in the position they're supposed to be in. And then let's go to the other side over here, and again we check that everything is in place, everything is good. The lights are doing an okay impression, we will definitely need those today. The pitos are unblocked. Well, and then let's enter our DA40 for today's flight. Now it's rather cold in here, it just stopped raining, so let me get that canopy down straight away. Turn on the battery, and then we'll have our G1000 power up. Press the rightmost soft key to continue, and here we are. So we have 6.2 hours in service, still a fairly new aircraft. Then we can continue with our checklists, please. So checklist, group, normal procedures, and that's exactly it. Wonderful. Alright, so let's go for it. Electric master is checked on, rudder pedals are adjusted, passengers instructed, seatbelts fastened, adjustable backrest is upright, rear doors. Let's check over here and over here. Little look from the back. Yeah, that is looking perfect. So they are closed and latched. The front canopy is closed. Fuel quantity. Let's check that real quick. So we are looking for flight performance, mass and balance, fuel, and we are looking at roughly some 70% over here, which we can load up. And we have a pilot and an instructor on board today. Okay, so fuel quantity is checked. Fuel selector on the fullest tank, they're both equal, so we'll just stay on the right side over here. Then on the MFD engine page, we're going to reset the fuel quantity and check the time in service. So reset fuel, and we have 30 gallons on board, so let's make sure that's set on the fuel remaining selector over here, and we have 6.2 hours in service.
TOS system test.
Okay, so fuel quantity reset, total time in service noted, MFD engine default, anti-collision light on, but before we do that we gotta grab our IFR clearance, so let's go for that. Avionic master is coming on. Then let's go down here onto the charts, please, and we are looking at Echo Delta Hotel Lima. And we do have a tower controller online over here today on 128705. And we can set that active, and then we can also tune the ATIS in COM2. And we want to be sure to listen to that.
Lubick information Charlie. Met report time 1850 Zulu. Expect ILS approach runway 25 in use for landing and takeoff. Transition level 70. When airborne contact Bremen radar on frequency 119.510. Wind 220 degrees 6 knots variable between 190 and 250 degrees. Visibility 10 kilometers, light rain clouds. View at 1,100 feet. Broken 1,300 feet. Overcast 1,600 feet. Temperature 5. 2.5 QNH 1007. Information Charlie.
Okay, 1007 is said once and twice.
Lubic information
And with
Charlie.
that information, Charlie is on
Met
board.
report time.
Alright, let's grab our IFR clearance. Lübeck Tower, moin moin. Delta Echo Lima, Foxtrot Hotel, information Charlie, request startup.
Delta Echo Lima, Foxtrot Hotel, Lübeck Tower, good day, sir. Startup approved.
Startup approved, Delta Echo Lima, Foxtrot Hotel. Okay, startup clearance is given. Then avionic masters are going back off, and then we can continue with
Lübeck Tower,
the checklist, please.
8802 request.
Okay, so anti-collision light on, propeller area clear, and immediately after engine start we check the oil pressure, the amps, and the volts.
Airport is Rostock Lage.
Okay.
November Lima, budget day on Lübeck.
So, are you ready to go? Then
Okay,
let's go ahead and start that one up. Fuel is selected.
Standby.
Then throttle slightly forward, fuel pump on, mixture rich, fuel flow is observed, and we have 3 seconds. Back off. Alright, let's go. I keep confusing that park and brake over here. Alright, here we go. We have a good start on engine number 1. So, oil pressure is checked. Fuel selector, switch tanks. So, alternator is coming on, and then pitot heat on. You can watch the amps rise, the volts drop. So with that, the pitot heat is on and checked, then pitot heat off, avionic master on, and then we can go for the FMS setup. So today we're departing Echo Delta Hotel Lima, and our destination is going to be
Rookie 8802 confirmed.
Echo Delta Delta Hotel. Like that. And now let's go for it. Procedures. Departure. Hamburg 1 kilo departure is the planned departure.
Startup approved, Rookie 8802.
And we can load that. And for the arrival, I do expect an ILS approach runway 23 over in Hamburg. For now we'll take the Hamburg transition, but we are most likely going to receive radar vectors anyway. In any case, let's go ahead and load that one up. And with that, our FMS is programmed. Now, for the departure charts, it's loading our SID automatically. Now, let's have a look. Initial climb clearance is 5,000, even though our cruising altitude is filed as 4,000, but that's going to be up to ATC anyway. On a route like this, the entire flight plan is more like, I gotta have something, therefore I enter something. But none of that is actually expected to be flown. I guess once we're above the minimum vectoring altitude, we're going to receive radar vectors anyway. We'll tune Hamburg VOR, since that's where the SID leads us. Well, and with that, let's go back onto the checklists and continue. So, FMS setup is completed. Autopilot test. Let's turn it on. You can see the stick moving down there. And let's press the BRB to turn it back off. Flight directors off. So, autopilot test completed. Floodlights off. Position lights. We are flying IFR, so they are going on. Then, flaps full throttle, then takeoff. So, flaps takeoff. Flaps landing. Back into takeoff. And back in the up. Can see him move properly down there. Okay, and into the takeoff position. Altimeters, QNH 1007 reading 220. So, transponder. We didn't receive any squawk just yet, so let's go 2000 and standby, and park and brake, release as soon as we get our taxi clearance. Well then, let's advise them that we're ready to copy our clearance. Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel is ready for taxi and ready to copy clearance.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, clear Hamburg, Hamburg 1 kilo departure, line 5000 feet, 1,000.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, clear Hamburg via Hamburg 1 kilo departure, climb altitude 5000, squawk 1000.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, read correct. Taxi holding point runway 25, Zulu 1 and Charlie.
Taxi holding point runway 25 via Zulu 1 and Charlie, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel. Okay, so code 1000, then we've got Hamburg 1 kilo departure, altitude 5000, squawk 1000, transponder is coming on, and that's it. Perfect, so onto the charts, and you can give me the taxi chart, please. So, Zulu 1 and Charlie. Taxi light on. Park and brake released. Brake check. Looking good. Then let's add a little bit of power. Alright, and then over to the left. And now via Charlie all the way to the holding point runway 25. Perfect. In the meantime, are you ready for the departure briefing? Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, negative. We'll be able for intersection departure. Okay, so for the departure briefing, it's going to be a left seat takeoff off runway 25, Hamburg 1 kilo departure, rotate at 59 and initial climb at 75. Icing is likely, so pitot heat will go on, will stay on, and we'll keep a good look outside for any possible icy conditions. Temperature is +6, so it should be okay, but better safe than sorry. Apart from that, in case of engine failure below 1000 feet, we're going to make a landing straight ahead, and there are a couple of fields. Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, we'll need a couple minutes for the run-up. You want us to line up anyway?
Red line up clearing here.
Roger, line up runway 25, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel. Okay. So, clear to line up, that means landing lights coming on, taxi light is going off. Alright, so engine failure above 1000 feet. We'll just make a 180 and come back for landing. Okay, runway 25 is confirmed, that's going to be facing into the right hand side. Clear left and clear right. Alright, so park and brake is set, then let's return to the checklists. Okay, so that's all checked. Okay, so before takeoff checklist, park and brake is set, seatbelts fastened.
Mit Absprache mit Hamburg hatten wir einiges geändert. Your new initial climb is 3000 feet.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, initial climb altitude 3000 feet, and we call you back when we're ready for departure.
Yeah, and route number 2, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, expect delay.
Roger, how long?
5 minutes.
That's just about perfect. Okay, so let's continue with the before takeoff checklist. Adjustable backrests are verified upright. Rear door is closed and latch, front canopy closed and latch, door warning light is out, engine instruments in green range. Well, let's see, the oil temperature is still coming up, but it's above 100. That seems to be what most pilots seem to use on the aircraft. But you can see I'm already running the engine at 2000 RPMs for it to warm up a little bit quicker. And the rest is within the green range. Okay, circuit breaker is checked, so let's just watch it from the front here. From the side you can always see these things quite a bit better. And they are checked. So, mixture rich, we have that. So, for the run-up, throttle, 2000 RPMs. Let's just make sure we're precisely at 2000. Well, here we are, more or less. It's okay. Right, prop controls, cycle 3 times. Now, notice how on the first cycle, it'll respond a little bit slower than on the other ones. So, that's the first one. Here comes the second one. And here comes the third. You can see how it's getting quite a bit quicker as the oil is being distributed in the governor. Alright, magnetos, check, maximum 175 RPMs drop and maximum 50 RPMs difference. So right side, losing about 80, both, left, losing 110, that's all within limits, and back on both. So circuit breakers and voltage, they are rechecked and the voltage is looking good. So throttle idle. That's just to see whether the engine is going to survive, which it does, perfect. Then let's bring it back up again. I'll go right back to 2000 so that the oil temperatures can start running up again. Okay, so electric elevator trim, check. That's looking good, and then trim set to the takeoff position. So flaps checked in takeoff, flight controls are checked, fuel selector onto the fullest tank, which is currently, oh, they're both equal, so we'll stay on the left hand side over here. So when clear to line up, electric fuel pump on, which it is, pitot heat on, transponder. So code 1000, alt mode is on, and the parking brake stays on. For the lineup itself, landing light on, which we have, approach sector clear, runway is identified, and that's the before takeoff checklist complete. So exit over here, let's go into the charts, departure chart. And here we go. Alright, perfect. So with that, we are pretty much ready to go. So a quick check. Interesting, engine page doesn't seem to show while we're in the charts. Let's do that again. Quick check, the temperature is almost there, so we're good to go any moment now. I'll report ready because at 141 the pointer should start moving, so we're in the green within a couple of moments. Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel ready for departure.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, Roger, stand by, call your pitch.
Yo. Alright. So now they know that we are ready. The oil temperature is also about in the green now. So with that we are all good to go. ATC is holding us back a little bit. That's most likely because they have IFR traffic that's much faster than us going above us. So we'll probably have to wait for them for a little bit until they find a free spot, since we are only doing a flight of about...
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, ready to copy?
AFA?
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, when airborne, contact Bremen radar, Hamburg arrival on 118.205 immediately.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, when airborne 118.205.
Und dann geht jetzt endlich los. Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, wind 220 degrees 6 knots, runway 25, clear for takeoff.
Runway 25, clear for takeoff, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel. Thank you very much, cheers. So 118.205 is pre-selected, takeoff clearance is received. Let's go. Brake released. Timing, takeoff. Power set. Rotate. Positive climb. So we'll let it accelerate a little bit over here. 75 is good. We'll maintain those. Weather is awesome, so we don't need to be concerned about icing right now. That's about as excellent as it gets. Perfect. Alright, 400 above the ground.
contact tower 16.855.
2400 RPMs.
855,
So, flaps up, fuel pump off, and landing and taxi lights off. Bremen, schönen guten Abend. Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, 1000, climbing 3000.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, Bremen, Hamburg arrival, radar contact, expect straight in ILS approach runway 23.
ILS 23, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel. Wonderful. So, that is about perfect. Now let's fly it up to cruising altitude, and once we're there, we're going to start with our arrival preparations. We're at 1500 above the ground, so we can go out of here and then climb to cruise checks. So, flaps checked up, electric fuel pump is off, landing light checked off, climb to cruise checks complete. So, looking at the chart over here, you can see the ILS starts right over here, so it's really not a long flight, about 15 nautical miles to get us all the way to the final approach fix already. A couple of clouds ahead of us, but that doesn't look too bad. The fact that they re-cleared us to 3000 feet only is actually pretty good, because it means we'll probably be able to remain outside those clouds, or at least not go into them for a very long time. Looking at the temperature, it's +4 right now. We're climbing another 1000. That means it's gonna drop by about 2 degrees, so we'll have a temperature of +2 during the cruise. That's pretty good. So icing isn't that much of a concern for us. But then again, you never know. I'm excited to see about it.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, turn right, heading 270.
Turn right, heading 270, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel. Okay, heading 270. Here we are. And with that, we're on radar vectors, so let's go procedures and activate vector to final. Here we go. That's our long final already there. The frequencies have been auto-tuned, so all we gotta do is to verify that everything is in, enter the minimum, and then we're already all set up.
November 351 Charlie Alpha, Bremen.
Alright, maintaining 3000. Let's set our cruise power here. We'll do 2323 to keep it at a good speed. So 23 inches and 2300 RPMs roughly.
Hamburg arrival 351.
There we are, looking good.
With you, 4000.
Matrix 51 Charlie Alpha, Bremen radar contact, turn right heading 200.
Alright, so charts, Hamburg, approach, ILS 23.
Right turn 200, 351 Charlie Alpha, down to 3000.
Matrix 51 Charlie Alpha on heading 200, cleared ILS.
Good, let's make sure that we maintain the heading and everything.
Cleared ILS approach, runway 23, 351 Charlie Alpha.
Alright, our minimum is going to be 243. So let's go over here, timer and references, minimums. on and 243, aka 250. Over here, 250 is in, perfect. And then we've got frequency 111.3. Interesting, it tunes something different. 111.3, that's the frequency, so it auto-tunes something incorrect. Well, that's the reason we're doing this stuff.
FedEx 953, Hamburg arrival at loads on left heading 300, descend altitude 4000 feet.
Left 300, descend 4000 feet, FedEx 953.
Even though it's kind of interesting, on 111.3 we don't receive anything. 111.5 we receive the ident that actually belongs to this approach. I guess there's probably been a change of frequency or something the likes. Well, it doesn't matter. As long as we receive the ident, I'm happy with a slightly different frequency as well. In the meantime, for the missed approach, we go straight at 5.5 from Ulster, 115.8. Here we go, 115.8 on standby. And then to Hamburg VOR 113.1, standby on NAV 1, and that should be it. For a PFD then, we'll get a DME, we'll get the 2 NAV 8s, and that's it. And actually, I'll do a slight change here. I'll go for 15.8 over here and 13.1 on number 2, because we only have a DME associated with NAV 1.
Arrival Boeing 335 Foxtrot.
Well, and that's it. Okay, are you ready for the arrival briefing? So, threats for the arrival, icing. Therefore, we are going to have a good look at our speed indicators. If we're descending and see an unreasonable loss in airspeed, that's a sure indication that we do have icing on our aircraft. For the time being though, there's nothing on here, so it's rather good. The temperatures are in the positives as well. Okay, ILS approach, runway 23, and we are already on a radar vector, frequency 111.5. Slightly different than what we have on the chart, but it is identified at India Hotel Whiskey, so probably slight simulator deviation over here. We'll fly the approach as fast as possible, and only on the final, at about 4 miles, we're actually going to start reducing our speed. Well, and that's it. Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, we will maintain 120 knots until 4 DME and thereafter reduce down to 70 knots.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, Roger, maintain speed 120 knots for now.
While we're level, we can only do 110, but 120 in the descent then.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, no problem, then now 110 knots.
Maintaining 110 knots, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel.
351 Charlie Alpha, contact Hamburg Tower, 126 is my 325.
Okay, 126, 325, we can pre-select that.
126.855, 351 Charlie Alpha.
Did he say 855 or 355? What's on here? Hamburg Tower 855. Okay, I must have misheard that from ATC. Here we go, 126855 is pre-selected. Alright, so, with that out of mind, let's go on to the checklist. Descent approach checks. Landing data are received.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, turn left heading 26, rotate ILS approach from runway 23.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, left heading 260, cleared ILS, runway 23. Okay, heading 260. So, do we still have some time left to get the ATIS?
Foxtrot, turn left heading 320.
Let's see, Hamburg ATIS 124, 325.
Bremen radar. Hamburg Information Victor, Met report time 1920 Zulu Special. When passing 2000 feet, contact Raymond radar. Check chart for departure frequency. Expect ILS approach runway 23. Runway in use for landing 23 and takeoff 33. Transition level 70. Wind 260 degrees 3 knots.
Localize our live.
Between 230 and 290 degrees. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 1100. Ceiling 2300 broken. 2900 broken. Temperature 6. Dew point 5. QNH 1008. Hamburg Information Victor out.
Okay, Information Victor is on board. So then let's go back into the checklist. So, landing data is received, altimeters, QNH 1007, FMS set, seatbelts on, adjustable backrest upright, fuel selector on the fullest tank. So that's going to go over to the right hand side. And that's the descent approach checklist complete. Next will be the after landing checklist. So everything is done. Perfect. Right, I'll tell you what, I'll go for the chart over here, and then we'll get the
P50 Foxtrot, turn further left heading 200 degrees, clear ILS approach.
Do we actually have a traffic inset? No. Okay, well, no problem. Okay, so localizer capture, runway heading 228 set. Beautiful, look at that. That's exactly what the instructor wants to see. We are right on it. Okay, so he cleared someone for an ILS just behind us. That means we'll probably have to be quick. But well, we'll fly as fast as possible, but it could be turbulent up here. For that reason, I have to keep the speed below the amber band. Otherwise, I'd happily do 140 knots to 4 miles, but we've got to be careful there. Small word here. The Navigraph charts on the G1000 are of course subject to a Navigraph subscription, which I can really recommend though, especially for VFR or for general aviation flying, since the Lido charts that are included with the simulator are airliner charts. So the JAPI charts over here are really good for really good for general aviation flying. So full recommendation there. And of course, for full disclosure, yes, I did get them for free from Navigraph. But that doesn't change my opinion on it. Okay, glide slope alive. Let's take a quick look at the traffic map here to see what's around us. So that guy behind here, that might be a bit of a problem. The one in front, not so much. But that guy, he's probably going to go around, I have a feeling.
Line 2629 are in the final approach speed.
Yep.
The final approach speed, Line 2629.
The problem is his final approach speed is probably going to be 30 knots higher than our cruising speed. So we'll see how that's going to turn out.
Hamburg arrival, good evening, Swiss 101 X-ray.
Swiss 101 X-ray, Hamburg arrival, radar contact. The wing for Papa Whiskey, turn left heading 300.
Okay, here we go. Glide slope capture. Whoopsie. Didn't mean to change the view. Go around altitude 4000 set. Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel established.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, roger, now the descent is 120 knots or as fast as you can.
120 or greater, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, connect tower 126.855.
126.855, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, tschüss.
12, Yankee 3 and stand on a base,
Well, that's in 9018, line up runway 33.
Lining out runway 33, Malaysian 918.
Okay, 125 is the fastest I can give him for the time being. Hamburg Tower 9, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, established ILS 23, 120 or greater until 4.
Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel, Hamburg Tower, hello. Number 1, wind check 260 degrees, 3 knots.
Click, click. Okay, so we're established, go around altitude is set. In case of missed approach, we'll climb on the runway track until 5.5 DME, then a left turn to Hamburg VOR climbing 4000. And we have Ulster DME on nav 1, Hamburg VOR on nav 2. So we'll have to change the CDI scale as well if we go around. And that's about everything we need. So the runway starts to come into view over here.
Wind 260 degrees, 3 knots, runway 33, clear for takeoff, just.
33 clear for takeoff, Malaysian 918.
So let's try to keep that speed up.
Right, 29 Romeo Papa, Hamburg Tower, moin, Roger.
I really want to keep going as fast as possible in order not to cause too many disruptions over here. After all, those controllers are really doing their best to accommodate us on aircraft like these. So I don't want to make it any more difficult for them than it already is. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the very slight delay that they gave us on the departure. It could have been much, much worse.
Hamburg Tower, hello, number 2, wind check 260 degrees, 3 knots.
So, note to myself, when doing photos, you might get off the ILS. Okay, we are visual, that means we can use a stable approach gate of 500 feet. So we'll keep the speed for a little bit longer. We now have 3.8 miles to the runway. At 3 miles I will start reducing aggressively. Ah, I hear Viras in the background for him. Great choice. Okay, reaching 3 miles, reducing power. Field elevation is about 100. That means at 600 on the altimeter we gotta be stable. Okay, we need a bit more drag. I will increase the RPMs to maximum. And then we are below 108, so let's go flaps 1, or rather flaps takeoff. Fuel pumps on.
Hotel, wind 260 degrees, 3 knots, runway 23, clear to land.
Runway 23, clear to land, Delta Echo Lima Foxtrot Hotel. Okay, that's a little bit much power, let's get those RPMs back. Here we go, 2300, that's better.
And Delta Foxtrot Hotel is able, fast vacating to the left side. There's an A320 relatively close behind you.
Delta Foxtrot Hotel, we'll do our best.
Thank you.
Alright, landing flaps,
900.
checked, and yeah, we are pretty much stable. It's a little bit gusty here, I'll keep the speed at about 80. So he said as quick as possible, that means at Delta Foxtrot Hotel is runway 33 available to vacate?
Delta Foxtrot Hotel, it's affirmed.
Roger. Okay, we'll aim to vacate onto the other runway then. That's probably the best deal we can give him. Okay, so that means we'll go a little bit below the glide slope here. Gotta remain within limits, of course, but we do want to help ATC. Here we are, 1 dot below.
Minimums.
Continue. Okay,
Bilan 2629, I will expect leg clearance.
power idle.
Roger, Bilan 2629.
Well, not the best of my landings, but here we are. And after a quick cut of FS24 doing FS24 things, we are right back, have vacated the runway via the exit Delta 9 right up here, and we can now go ahead and clean up our aircraft. So let's go into the checklist and do the after landing checks. That's gonna be flaps up, then pitot heat off, electric fuel pump off, alternate air is closed, and the taxi and landing lights as needed, and I am gonna switch those landing lights off. Alright, so with that the runway is vacated. Let's bring up the taxi charts again, and we are going to taxi right to the general aviation parking. So parking brake is released, and then let's add a little bit of power and make our way to the parking spot. Unfortunately, due to FS24 doing FS24 things, we had to disconnect from VATSIM over here. But at this point, if any of the controllers is seeing this video in retrospective, thank you very much for controlling. Now we're going to taxi straight to the general aviation parking, which leads us straight ahead over here, and then a tiny left and then right turn onto Whiskey to the parking spot. So, I hope you have all enjoyed this flight. I most certainly did. Now, you might have noticed I flew all of it manually without the flight director in action there, and that was just because the DA40 flies so incredibly lovely that you can actually do all this. Now let's go straight ahead across Golf into Whiskey, and then we end up right at the general aviation parking. Let's perhaps slow it down a little bit as we are going a tiny bit quicker over here for entering an apron. Alright, and here we are, the Geschäftsfliegerzentrum at Hamburg Airport. What a lovely German name. And here we are, perfect. So the parking brake is set, then let's go straight back into the checklist and do the parking checks. So that is parking brake, set, engine instruments are checked, MFD. So we're noting the total time in service, which is now 7.3 hours. And then ELT is checked, not activated. Avionic master is off. Electrical consumers except anti-collision light are off. Throttle for 1000 RPMs, which is more or less right here. Okay, ignition grounding check, mixture, idle cutoff, then ignition, off, anti-collision light, off, interior lights off, starter key will be removed, and electric master off. Well, my friends, and with that, we've made it! Thank you very much for flying along. I sure hope you enjoyed this flight as much as I did. I surely did, and I had a blast going on in this one. I'm looking forward to see you guys flying the Chaos DA40 in the very soon future, and with that, thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and then I'm very much looking forward to see you guys again on the next one. In the meantime, if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.